I've got the only trade package that could land the Lakers, Giannis Antetokounmpo, if the Bucks want a star in return and Giannis wants to be a Laker. Also, we got some purple and gold injury updates. LeBron James rumored to be calling it a career, possibly as early as this year. Also, some big Dodgers rumors to get into. A Dodgers rumor that is going to make some Dodgers fans very upset. Also, what is the Rams' path to the Super Bowl and why they can't have another letdown like they did against the Panthers, or it could cost them a chance at a Lombardi Trophy, and why Matthew Stafford deserves the MVP over Drake Maye at this point of the season. And Boston, a better sports city than Los Angeles? No way. That's coming up next on the LA Sports Report. LA is the sports capital of the world. The Lakers have entered their Luka Doncic era. LeBron doesn't just want a farewell tour, he wants a farewell title. The Rams are going to win the Super Bowl. Go, Kings, go. The Dodgers are the best run franchise in all of professional sports. Shohei Ohtani is the GOAT. Steve Ballmer will do anything to get the Clippers a championship. Mick Cronin has to win a national championship at UCLA. Justin Herbert is a top 5 quarterback in this league. College football is just better when USC is good. This whole city has the Mamba mentality. I love LA.
Live from the heart of Los Angeles, this is the LA Sports Report with your host, Doug McKain.
What is up, and welcome to another episode of the LA Sports Report, the #1 daily podcast and show on YouTube dedicated to all things Los Angeles sports. Dodgers, Lakers, Rams, Chargers, Kings, LAFC, Sparks, USC, UCLA. The only show that puts it all into one place. We've got tons of interviews on deck. Lots of exciting stuff here. We're getting close to 5,000 subscribers. So if you are new to the show, do me a huge favor. Hit the subscribe button. Hit the notification bell. Hit the like button. My name is Doug McKain. I've covered LA sports for over a decade. I started with 24/7 Sports when I was at UCLA covering the football team and the basketball team, to UCLA Radio, then the Lakers for Chat Sports and Bleacher Report, SI, then Dodgers Nation, Locked On Rams, Westwood One. I am loyal to the soil, and that is why this was my dream show, because I want to talk about all LA sports. Don't worry, Dodgers Nation. We get you a lot. We'll get you a lot of Dodgers content. We got some more stuff we'll talk about later about this latest rumor for the Los Angeles Dodgers. But we are going to start with the Los Angeles Lakers. So we're going to talk about the Lakers that are playing currently in Toronto without Luka Doncic. So no Luka Doncic, and the reason why is Luka Doncic and his wife are welcoming in their second child. So Luka Doncic, girl dad. Hey, that's the theme. That's the theme in Los Angeles. Shohei Ohtani, girl dad. Luka Doncic, girl dad. Kobe Bryant, of course, the famous girl dad. Luka Doncic in Slovenia, where his wife has given birth to their second child. That's extremely, extremely exciting news for Luka Doncic. And I think that you look at the people in Dallas saying, oh, when he was living in Dallas, they lived here, and she wouldn't have gone back to Slovenia. Look, I've been told by multiple sources, the whole plan was she's got a great support system in Slovenia. He's still working his way in Los Angeles. He stayed here. She went back there. Everything is fine. This is from a Slovenian news outlet. Quote, according to our reliable but unofficial information, our basketball player Luka Doncic has become a father for the second time. The 26-year-old, who is said to have arrived in Slovenia yesterday, and his fiancée, Ana Maria Goltez, are said to be happy with their daughter, making Gabriella an older sister. I can just see Luka Doncic now when he's asked about this. It's amazing, man. It's amazing, man. It's amazing, man. I love when Luka Doncic gives his press conference. Count how many times He says that. It's amazing, man. And you love to see that. Luka Doncic and his wife welcoming in another child. Congrats to Luka Doncic and his family. Luka Magic. Now, here's the thing. I know it's not a boy. I know it's not a boy. And when it comes to naming, it's a very personal thing. But I think that Luka should name his new daughter Nicole. I'm thinking Nicole because if it was a boy, it should just be Nico. It should just be Nico, right? But since the girl, name it Nicole. Kind of sounds the same. Nico Harrison, the reason why he is with the Los Angeles Lakers. Of course, I only kid. Congratulations, Luka. It's amazing, man. It's amazing, man. All right, so the Lakers in Toronto, tough game without Luka Doncic. LeBron James, of course, needs a big game tonight. Austin Reaves, of course, setting himself up to be the star in this run without Luka. He could miss the entire East Coast trip for the Lakers where they're at right now. So it'll be interesting to see how their record fares with him out. But tonight, you've got Toronto. Look, man, some things are more important than basketball, but you're in Toronto today. Tomorrow, Lakers, Celtics already. And then Sunday at 76ers. And then you're back home Wednesday. So you got a 4-game trip. Raptors, Celtics. Well, you got the 3-game trip, and then you come and play a tough team in the NBA Cup quarterfinal on Wednesday the 10th. But you got Raptors tonight, Celtics tomorrow, 76ers on Sunday. So Luka Doncic, they're going to have to step up in his absence. And we know they can do it. We know they can do it. We believe they can do it. And I think one of the big keys is Marcus Smart. And when do you get his services to the point where you're feeling good about where he's at? Well, JJ Redick, he spoke to reporters before the game, and we got a little update on Marcus Smart.
We're playing a team that's incredibly disruptive on the defensive end, and we've got to do a good job of taking care of the basketball. I mean, the number for our cutoff point for turnovers is actually insane. If we have 19 or less, we're 15-0. If we have 20 or more, we're 5-0. Normally that number would be like 14, 15, 16. It's an insanely high number. So, without Luka, the ball handling piece, getting the ball across half court, making good paint decisions, that's for everybody. I don't think Austin's going to play his game. I don't think it puts any more onus on him to go for 50.
You guys have a sense for how long Luka's going to be away from the team?
We hope to get him back soon. Obviously, he's away from the team for personal reasons. Don't have a pinpointed day though.
We talked about Austin without Luka. This is the first time I think you guys will have LeBron without Luka. There's been a lot of talk about him fitting in alongside what Luka and Austin's done. So it's
gonna be a real big test. LeBron and Austin Reaves, we'll see what they can do. But he would also go on to say about Marcus Smart, he was feeling a little tightness. I guess it was 3 games ago before the game. Start to feel it. He played through it. It tightened up after it was really tight the next day before Thanksgiving. So we got some imaging done. The imaging was unremarkable. Looked like a normal 11-year-old NBA vet, an 11-year NBA vet. We've got all that on the MRI. So he'll go on to say, we're not concerned long-term. It's a day-to-day thing. I had a number of those like week-to-week episodes during a stretch of my career when I played for the Clippers. I would just pop up and you would feel like you're progressing and then it would kind of plateau. So we expect him to be back soon. It's not a long-term thing. So he looks like a normal 11-year NBA vet, not an 11-year-old NBA vet. That would be maybe Wembanyama at 11, but not the current group for sure. But you definitely want to see Marcus Smart back. He gives him that element, and without him, the Lakers' lack of defense, it's been very, very, very evident that they need him back. You notice it right away. The team struggles without Marcus Smart on the court. They need him to be healthy. They need him to contribute, and the good thing is this is not something that's long-term. So, look, I mean, with Luka out, with Marcus Smart out, I mean, how encouraged and optimistic are you with him out? Hey, I think it's a perfect time for Austin Reaves because Austin Reaves has put himself in a great position to, one, capitalize financially when he does go to the negotiating table and look to sign a new contract in his walk year. The numbers look fantastic for Austin Reaves this season. Through 17 games, averaging 28.1 points per game, 5.7 rebounds, 6.6 assists, 51.9% from the field, 88.3% from the charity stripe, a 68% true shooting percentage. Those are all career highs. Points, rebounds, assists. And he also has the second best field goal true shooting percentage of his career, too. And he's got a usage rate at 28.7%. So that's 5 points higher. That's 5 points higher than his next highest season. So basically what that means statistically is, from an efficiency standpoint, he's performed very well, and he's being used for more possessions than he's ever had throughout his career. So look, you look at Austin Reaves, and I can compare some other players to you, and it would blow your mind, kind of the company that he's in, that Austin Reaves is in. And you got Devin Booker type of lines from him. But I look at Austin Reaves as a guy that's going to capitalize on his opportunity. And let's say that Austin Reaves plays very well. Well, the better he plays, the better for him. And the Lakers can pay him. They have his bird rights, so they have that advantage. But if you are going to buy in at all to the idea that Giannis Antetokounmpo could be traded and that the Lakers are a destination, well, the better Austin Reaves plays, the better for the Lakers. Hey, this value is going up. Today's price isn't yesterday's price. Austin Reaves is an all-star. If the all-star voting was today, he'd be a lock to be an all-star. And if you're the Milwaukee Bucks, and the story today is that Giannis Antetokounmpo is going to be out for the next 2 to 4 weeks with a calf strain. There were some rumors that it was Achilles related, but it's a right calf strain, and Shams Charania reported that. There were some fears of an Achilles injury, but Doc Rivers dismissed that. They did an MRI that confirmed that wasn't the case. And the Bucks are struggling. They're 1-5 with Giannis out of the lineup. But the better that Austin Reaves plays, the better the Lakers package would look to the Milwaukee Bucks. You want the Lakers to have the best possible package that they could have if you're going up against other teams out there, and that improves the better he plays. Now, I have got a hypothetical trade package for you that would give the Lakers the very best chance. What is the Lakers' best offer that they could present to the Milwaukee Bucks under the circumstances that Giannis has told the organization that he wants to be traded? Then, two, the Bucks have made it clear to him that they're willing to explore talks to trade him. And if that's the case, he won a championship for them. He's extremely well liked. He's done everything right. Do you think they would ship him off to a place that he doesn't want to go, a destination he doesn't want to go? Of course not. They would most likely, to a degree, work in tandem with Giannis. And we know that the Knicks are his top choice. If that's not the case, and he formulated a list, which I've been told doesn't have an official list at this point, you'd have to believe that the Lakers would be on that list. So, hypothetically, right now, what's the best deal the Lakers could offer the Milwaukee Bucks? And would they want to do that deal? There's still some people out there that want to keep Austin Reaves on this team. There's spacing issues that could cause with Giannis and Luka and LeBron versus Austin Reaves, who kind of spreads the floor out a little bit. There's the age factor, is a little older. Is he injured? Is he going to get injured? So there's some factors there for sure. But the issue the Lakers have right now is, at the moment, if the Lakers were to make a trade right now for Giannis Antetokounmpo, they would only have one first-round pick to trade him. Now, The way they could sweeten up the deal a little bit is to say, hey, we don't have multiple first-round picks we can include, but we do have 4 pick swaps. They have 4 first-round pick swaps, and the Bucks, we know they want this to concrete multiple picks. And if the summertime rolls around and Giannis Antetokounmpo is still in the Bucks and they're going to trade him, the Lakers are going to be in a much better spot. They're going to have some cap space. They're going to have 3 first-round picks they could deal. But at that point, Austin Reaves will be an unrestricted free agent, and he's not going to be incentivized to do anything to help the Lakers in a sign-and trade with the Bucks. Can you imagine that for Austin Reaves? I have this great year, Hillbilly Mamba, LeBron James, and you don't want to sign me, and you want me to do a sign-and trade with the Bucks to go to Milwaukee? It doesn't make sense on his end. It's not outside the realm of the possible options, but for the most part, you would have to believe that he would want to have his pick of the litter, right? He would want to get wooed by franchises, go through the whole free agent process, and see which teams would make the most sense for him at that point of his career. He's going to have max offers. He will. There's going to be teams with cap space. The Brooklyn Nets are a team that could sign Austin Reaves. The Utah Jazz are a team that could sign Austin Reaves. And the Lakers, they're not going to want to kind of broach that subject anyway with the potential sign and trade with Austin Reaves. So the last thing that they would want would to have to get in that situation. So the deal that they could make right now, if you included those pick swaps, would be the Lakers get Giannis Antetokounmpo, the Bucks get Austin Reaves, Rui Hachimura, Maxi Kleber, Gabe Vincent, Dalton Connect, the Lakers' unprotected first-round pick in 2031, an unprotected first-round swap for 26, 28, 30, and 32. That's the best possible in-season deal that the Lakers could make for Giannis Antetokounmpo. And the only way that this could have legs, the only way that this could become a reality would be if the Bucks are definitely going to trade him, and then 2, Giannis wants to force his way to the Lakers. That is the other element to this. If Giannis wants to be a Laker and he makes it known to the organization, if I'm the Bucks, would you rather trade Giannis to the Lakers or to the Knicks? I would much rather prefer to trade him to the other conference, not the one that I'm currently in. Only issue that the Lakers would have would be if Giannis was open to teams like the Rockets or other teams out there that could put together better packages. So, look, the case to keep Austin Reaves would be he's younger, he is in a position where he's a fan favorite. You found him basically off the street as an undrafted guy and you turn him into something. But the truth of the matter is the Lakers, this is what they do. This is the formula for championships for this organization. And there was a report by a Chicago beat writer that said that Luka Doncic inquired with the Lakers to see if they could acquire Giannis. So he wrote, I can tell you the Lakers inquired and Luka Doncic himself inquired, trying to see if the Lakers could work out a deal with the Milwaukee Bucks. So if there's any truth to that, that's immediately fascinating. And I understand, look, there's a guy that probably is thinking, okay, is Giannis the dude? We love Austin Reaves. You found something. I think this would be the perfect situation for the Lakers to take advantage of, hey, the Bitcoin price is at its highest. Let's sell it now, right? Can we get liquid? And for the Lakers, this is how they've won championships. How many examples do you need? Wait a second. Where have I seen this before? Milwaukee trades a dominant big man to the Lakers, pairs him with a 6'7" to 6'9" ball handler, and it turns into multiple championships? Oh, that's right. Magic Johnson, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. How about other center guard type combinations? Kobe Bryant, Shaquille O'Neal, Kobe Bryant, Pau Gasol, Hey, LeBron James, Anthony Davis, Luka Doncic, Giannis Antetokounmpo has that nice ring to it. So, hey, I'm all the way in on a potential Giannis Antetokounmpo trade. And I love Austin Reaves. I've talked to Austin Reaves before. Great guy. Love what he's become. It's one of the great stories in the NBA for the last 5-6 years, what he's emerged as. But I'm rooting for Austin Reaves to play well. And if it turns into a Giannis trade, it's, hey, will you agree to a max extension on the spot? And if I'm the Bucks, I think you got yourself a really good one in Austin Reaves. So that's where I'm at with that. All right, switching gears, staying in Lakerland, though. Staying in Lakerland, talk some LBJ. Let's talk some LeBron James. Because there was a report today that LeBron James could retire possibly this season. I mean, there's a world where there's some buzz that the 2025-2026 season could be LeBron James's last. And there was a report from Eric Pincus of Bleacher Report, and he wrote in his report, quote, while general manager Rob Pelinka said before the season that he'd like James to retire with the Lakers, the buzz around the NBA is that this will be his final season in Los Angeles, whether he decides to continue playing or calling it a career. So whether he's going to retire, who knows? He's going to be 41 years old in December. This is his 23rd NBA season. He has done everything you can possibly do on a basketball court. Win championships, win MVPs, Eastern Conference, Western Conference. He is going to be obviously a first ballot Hall of Famer. The only guy that is really sitting at his table is Michael Jeffrey Jordan. Will he retire after this year? We'll see. But that's not really the Lakers' problem. That's not really the Lakers' thinking right now. Because if it's his last year, then fine. If it's not, okay, you have all the power to go somewhere else today and or somewhere else after the season, and it really does not affect you one way or the other, because it's been pretty clear at this point that the writing has been on the wall for LeBron James and the Lakers. Hey, this could be it. This is the last dance. But there's not a lot of people around the NBA that think he's going to be back with the Lakers. And he's got a contract that you've got 2 years left where, I mean, the one that he originally signed, we had the 2 years left and $97.6 million. And even back then you were wondering, oh, is it going to be done? Is it going to be gone? I think for the Lakers at this point, you just want to kind of have as amicable of an exit with LeBron James as you possibly can. We saw his antics the other night where LeBron was laughing and joking with the Phoenix Suns while JJ Redick was trying to call a play, ultimately was yelling LeBron, ultimately had to call a timeout. And I'm not a LeBron hater at all. If he's on this team, I want him to be able to contribute. But LeBron is kind of being that guy right now where it's almost like he's Woody in Toy Story and Luka Doncic is Buzz Lightyear. And the buzz is about Luka, and it's not about LeBron James for the first time in his career. The only way that LeBron James could get that buzz back would be to announce that this is his farewell tour, to announce he's retiring. And I just don't expect him to do that because I think he's going to go the full-blown retirement tour. But I don't think there's anyone that would be shocked if LeBron James left after this season he wasn't a Laker. The question is LeBron James on your team this year no matter what? And I think that seems to be the case. And look, you just need to see a better version of LeBron. I think that a lot of people are down on him right now. I'm not one of them that think, oh, he's done. Look, 5 games, 15.2 points per game, 4 rebounds, 7.2 assists, 46% from the field. I mean, this is not LeBron James out there. This is not an MVP or an all-NBA level player, but he's going to need some time to get his legs underneath him, and we'll see if he can find a way to do just that. We'll see if he can find a way to make the headlines about, oh, hey, This is a guy where he's 40. How's he doing that? Because I just don't like this about LeBron James. And this is what I don't like about the LeBron stands out there is we're moving the goalposts now. We're moving the goalposts on LeBron. Because last year was, man, how can a 40-year-old do this? Man, how can a 40-year-old play like this? How can a 40-year-old play at this level and be a second-team All-NBA player, be an MVP candidate? How can a 40-year-old do that? Now, this year, he's not playing well to start the season, and it's, hey, man, he's 40, okay? Give him a break. The dude's 40. Can we just give him a little bit of a break here? He's a legend. He's 40. So which is it? So I think that's kind of where it's at with LeBron James at the moment. But all right, we're going to switch gears. We're going to switch gears to some baseball talk. Switch gears to some baseball talk. Give me a Let's Go Dodgers here. And if you watched Dodgers Dugout Live earlier, we talked a lot about this. Let's go to the comments really quick. See what we got. We got people in the chat. Justin Lamas, what's up, D-Mac? It's 1:36 a.m. here. Justin Lamas, how many games do you think UCLA football will win next year? I predict 6 or 7. Wait. Did you say 6, 7, 6? I'm not going to do that, guys. Are you guys in on the 6, 7 thing? I mean, I know it's totally played out at this point. But I mean, hey, it is what it is. It is what it is. But I do think, hey, could they win 6, 7 games? We'll see. But let's see what else we got. We've got hopefully Luka doesn't miss more than okay. Oh, come on. Now at this point, I thought that it was just a coincidence, Justin Lamas. I thought that this was just a coincidence. Now I see what you're doing. Because now he says that what's up, D-Mac? I hope Luka Doncic doesn't miss 6 or 7 games.
Bruh.
Come on, stop that. I don't think he will. And I think this Lakers team is going to have a lot of focus. But we'll talk some more. Let's get some more comments. Dan Marino, what's up? We got Nando. Include LeBron and Bronny in the trade. Can you imagine that, Dad? We got traded. I would have traded you for the world. Oh, well, we both got traded. Bronny and LeBron go to... Yeah. Hey, last year, I'm impressed. Last year, I said that, hey, Bronny was going to retire before his dad, the way his career was going, but he's turned things around. He's been a contributor, which is good to see. LeBron isn't a Laker. He just plays for the Lakers. Interesting take. I mean, we'll talk some more LeBron in a minute. I can talk LeBron Lakers for days, but I want to give the Dodgers fans who rock with me here on the LA Sports Report their time in this one, because the trade that's going to potentially make Dodgers fans pretty upset is if they traded Teoscar Hernandez. Would they consider trading Teoscar Hernandez? I did some more digging today, asking around, is this a real possibility? And the truth of the matter is, with the Los Angeles Dodgers, there are no locks outside of guys like Shohei Ohtani and Yoshinobu Yamamoto and Freddie Freeman and Mookie Betts. Essentially, if you're not a future Hall of Famer, you're probably not 100% safe. And the buzz today about Teoscar Hernandez came from Ken Rosenthal of The Athletic. And Ken Rosenthal of The Athletic, he said, quote, that there's an interesting possibility that has surfaced for the two-time defending World Series champion Dodgers, a trade of right fielder Teoscar Hernandez. He'll go on to say Hernandez's name is coming up in trade conversations. According to league sources, the Dodgers view a deal as unlikely, but the idea of it at least is not without logic. While Hernandez has hit 8 home runs with a combined 780 OPS the past 2 postseasons, he is also a big reason the Dodgers outfield defense ranked only 18th in outs above average during the regular season. So the defense, it was an look for Teoscar Hernandez last season. His jersey should have just said ours. You should have just taken the D out of the front and a D out of the middle. It just said ours because there was no D. The defense was atrocious. It was bad. And he stayed in right field. He made multiple plays that cost the Dodgers throughout the postseason. And you got the full Teoscar Hernandez experience in the postseason. Look at the opener in game 1 against the Reds, the wild card round. He hit 2 home runs, and he had a 3-run home run off Hunter Green in the 3rd inning. It broke the game wide open. And then what would we see in the 2nd game? He had that defensive blunder, let that ball just clank right off his glove that would have ended the inning in the 1st inning of game 2 with Yoshinobu Yamamoto on the mound, and then it led to 2 unearned runs. And then later, what happens? He ends up getting a big moment with that 2-run double in the 6th inning that basically blew the game wide open. So it's bad Teo, good Teo. It was Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde for Teoscar Hernandez. And then game 1 of the NLDS, the Phillies, he makes a play that he doesn't use the right angle on the JT Realmuto hit. It leads to a triple. That leads to a 3-run inning. But in the 7th inning, he hits a 3-run home run that just completely turned the game around. That was one of the most important home runs for the entire postseason run. So it's so maddening because the defense, it's never going to be elite. Can it be average, though? That's the question. If you can get anywhere close to average defense, then there's no way you trade him. But if you think that the defense is only going to get worse, then I think you have to consider. Because think about this stat. He drove in 13 runs in the postseason for the Dodgers in 2025. Only 2 players that drove in more runs were Shohei Ohtani and Vladimir Guerrero Jr. So, man, every time I say the Blue Jays, I can't help myself. I know I did it on the earlier show. I can't help myself, though. Every time I say the Blue Jays, I think one thing and one thing only. Blue Jays lose. But would I trade Teoscar Hernandez? I'm going to plant my flag right here. If you can guarantee me a trade of either Byron Buxton, or you're going to sign Cody Bellinger, you're going to dip your toes into the Kyle Tucker waters, Jarren Duran, Stephen Kwan. If you are going to add another outfielder, and specifically the best version would be one that can play center field, Kyle Stowers is the name I've thrown out, but also Byron Buxton. If you can get Byron Buxton and then you kick Andy Paz to right field where he is Gold Glove caliber, and you keep left field open. If you want to go Dalton Rushing, give him some opportunities there. Later in the season, if you're going to give Josue DePaula or guys like that opportunities, Kike Hernandez is going to be back. You still have Alex Call in the organization. Tommy Edman, Kike Hernandez, I think, is going to be back too. Then I do think that you should consider trading Teoscar Hernandez. So if you are looking at me as someone who's saying, oh, you can't trade Teoscar Hernandez, I think that they've gotten the best out of Teo. And quite frankly, his speech at the championship parade, I think it was heartwarming. I think it was touching. And I think that the Dodgers, they were kind of on that World Series high. And look, he helped them win 2 World Series titles. I don't think the Dodgers are guaranteed to win the last 2 World Series titles if it wasn't for Teoscar Hernandez. And I'm telling you that the Dodgers grounds crew, the people who clean up the field, are going to be happy about the fact that you don't have to clean up the sunflower seeds. But it's something I would consider. Now, are they out there actively trying to trade him? No, they're not. But it's not a situation where it's 100%, hey, he's not available. He's one of those guys where it's, hey, at what price? At what price? And if a certain situation comes around, then certainly he could be available. Now, other quick rumors, we're going to run down these really quick. This is what we're hearing. This is what we're seeing. This is a quick rapid fire of the current Dodgers rumors. So the Dodgers were in on Rafael Iglesias before he re-signed with the Atlanta Braves. So that tells you they are willing to pay a reliever. Second, they offered 1 year to Ryan Helsley before he got the 2 years with the Orioles. Signed for 2 years, $28 million. They were big time in on Devin Williams before he signed with the Mets. They're not very willing to go 5 years on Edwin Diaz. They don't want to go long-term on Edwin Diaz. Does that mean they're comfortable going 3, or is that the cutoff? That's still developing. But right now, they are like the Mets. They don't want to go 5 years on Edwin Diaz. The Dodgers have shown no interest in Pete Fairbanks. They're interested in bringing back Teoscar Hernandez after bringing back Miguel Rojas. They also want to get younger on the bench. They're not going to be in on Kyle Tucker unless his market completely flames out and he's willing to sign a shorter term, higher AAV deal, possibly with some opt-outs. They also are interested in Cody Bellinger. So that's another thing as well. But that is some Dodgers talk. I want to see what you guys have to say. D-Mac, be honest. Are you concerned with Pages? I think that you don't have to actively force yourself to get younger on this roster, but I do think that Pages is a guy that it's a happy medium. It's convenient that he's a younger player that has a lot of potential. He's under an affordable deal because he's still on his pre-arbitration part of his contract, not close that 6 years of Major League service time. I still think that he has great potential. And you look at the year that Andy Pages had last year, he's a legit big leaguer. And we have not been able to say that about a lot of the Dodgers players in the last couple of seasons that we hoped would be legit big leaguers. I mean, Andy Pages last season, dude was so close to making the All-Star team in his second full season in Major League Baseball at age 24. Had a 3.8 WAR season. Byron Buxton was 1 WAR above him. I mean, almost 4 WAR, that's very impressive. Hit 27 home runs in 581 at-bats, 86 RBI, scored 74 runs. Had a 774 OPS. That's above average. Had a 114 OPS plus. That was 14% above average. So what I'm looking for some of these pipeline products from this big vaunted Dodgers farm system is, hey, can you just be a legitimate big leaguer? I love Gavin Lux. Low-key consider him a friend. He still has work to do. Gavin Lux, for all the talk about being the top prospect in baseball, the Dodgers' top prospect, trading him last year, people throughout the season saying we should keep Gavin Lux, saying Gavin sucks to Gavin F-U-X, right? It's been all over the place with Gavin Lux. Last year, Gavin Lux was a negative WAR player, minus 0.2. Had a 97 OPS plus, 3% below league average. So he was a negative WAR player last year. So he's not proven to be a legitimate everyday big leaguer yet. He really is not. You look at Gavin Lux. Gavin Lux in 2022 is above average. Outside of that, 5 of his 6 years, he has been below average. So Andy Pages has proven to do things that some of these other Dodgers prospects, James Outman is another guy that comes to mind, have not proven to be able to do. All right, going to switch gears. Got to talk some Rams football. Rams taking on the Cardinals this weekend. Trying to get back in the win column. And the first thing I want to say about the Rams is I see everyone out there. It was a wake-up call against the Carolina Panthers. It was a wake-up call against Bryce Young. They still outperformed them in a lot of statistical categories. It was just an off day, and it happens in the NFL. Sure. And in most seasons, when the Rams were just trying to get to the playoffs, you could live with that loss. But if that loss costs them the number 1 seed in the NFC, if that loss costs them home field advantage throughout the playoffs, it could cost them another Super Bowl. It was very significant. Now, you see yourself, hey, D-Mac, come on, it's the NFL. They can win on the road. Anyone can win anywhere. If the Rams played the Eagles at home last year, they might be reigning Super Bowl champions this year. And throughout their history, they have played better at home in the postseason. As the lower seed playing on the road, Matthew Stafford in his career in the playoffs is 1-5. With the Rams, 1-2. Since 2017, the Rams with Sean McVay on the road, 2-3. At home, Matthew Stafford with the Rams, 4-0. Also 3-0 at SoFi Stadium. So, I mean, you look at that fact right there, and the truth is, I mean, The Rams are 5-1 at home again this season, too. And Matthew Stafford has not thrown an interception at SoFi Stadium in 2025. Also, the defense, better at SoFi. This year, 15.2 points per game at home. On the road, they've given up 19.8 points per game. They've allowed more than 30 points, and it's happened on the road. So the goal for this team is to try to find a way to finish with that 1 seed, to finish with that bye. That is what has to be top of mind, because this is a team that should not go on the road to play Philly, to play the Eagles, to play the Green Bay Packers in Lambeau Field, to play the Seattle Seahawks in a tough environment with the 12-man. Chicago at Soldier Field, I wouldn't be too concerned because they have a tough schedule down the stretch. The Bears, they play the Packers twice, they play the 49ers. They got some tough games, so I'd be shocked if they would finish as strong considering their schedule. But it's a major advantage for the Rams if they can finish with that number 1 seed in the NFL. They have to finish with that number 1 seed. And out of the teams with the number 1 seed, I mean, you look at a path to go out there and make a deep run. The proof is there. I mean, having the number 1 seed, it gives you an advantage. The Bears 9-3, they have the top seed right now. They got a tough schedule, but the Rams need to go into Arizona and get that win. The Rams are projected to win 12.5 games right now, and that is going to guarantee them the 1 seed if they can pull that off. This was from ESPN's Jeremy Fowler. He said, it's possible the 2 best NFC teams play in the West, and when the Rams and Seahawks met earlier this season, the Rams prevailed, but only after missing last-second field goal attempts. The rematch in Week 16 in Seattle could decide the division championship, as well as both teams possibly vying for the bye. The Seahawks have road games in Atlanta, Carolina, and San Francisco to go with home games against the Colts and the Rams. So the Seahawks, they go to Atlanta in Week 14. They got the Colts at home in Week 15, Rams in Week 16, at Carolina Week 17, and at San Francisco in Week 18. So the Seahawks, they don't have an easy schedule down the stretch, but it's going to be an interesting finish. Rams' chances right now, you got pretty much in the 30s, 36%, 34%, something in that range to finish with the number 1 seed, and I think that's doable. That's doable. Now, next thing I want to get into is the MVP race. The MVP race, Matthew Stafford versus Drake Maye. A fascinating MVP race. You've got the young Drake Maye, who doesn't have this offense that the Rams have with these elite playmakers. No Puka Nakuas, no Devontae Adams. He's been really good. He's just 23 years old. I said before that draft that he would be better than Caleb Williams. So far, I've been right. And I think Caleb is going to still be solid for sure. But can he overtake Matthew Stafford? This is still a race. It's still going to be decided down the stretch. So this still has some room to go. But just to set the stage right now, I think what Matthew Stafford has going for him is a couple of different things. And the first thing he has is the narrative. Heading into this season, he was dealing with a back injury. Some people thought it was going to be pretty limiting for him. And then he ends up having this great season at 37. And what this would do for him is essentially put a cherry on top to what has been a Hall of Fame career. It's his 17th season in the NFL. He's had a great career, but he's playing his best football. He became the first to throw 28 touchdowns straight without interception, breaking Tom Brady's record. On the season, he leads the league with 32 touchdowns, and 4 interceptions are fewer than all but 3 quarterbacks who have at least 300 pass attempts. The efficiency numbers, the efficiency doesn't love him as much as Drake Maye. 7.7 yards per attempt, a 66.3% completion rate, 111.7 passer rating. That's right behind Drake Maye's at 111.9 for the best in the NFL. But still, a lot of the metrics, a lot of the other stats, they still have him neck and neck with Drake Maye. The stats are right there. The remaining schedule for Matthew Stafford, another thing to kind of look at is how do you build that narrative? He's taking on his old team, the Lions. He's playing the Cardinals. So he's got the Cardinals this week, the Lions at home next week, the Seahawks in Week 16, and you got the Falcons and the Cardinals again. So if they get the 1 seed in the NFC and he has his best stats in what could be his last season, I think the voters lean towards Matthew Stafford because they might view it as, Drake Maye has a lot of years to win the MVP. Even if that's not true, that's kind of how the narrative fits. So finish with the 1 seed. Don't have games like you had last week where you had a costly fumble at the end, threw a pick 6 and multiple interceptions, 3 turnovers. If he plays like that for the last couple of weeks, yeah, give it to Drake Maye. But as long as he goes back to being Matthew Stafford, then you feel good about it. Because I think the big question, the case for Drake Maye, is what he means to his team. So let's look at what Matthew Stafford means to the Los Angeles Rams. He means everything. No Matthew Stafford, they're nothing. I don't care about Puka and Devontae, and Jimmy Garoppolo is not getting this team the 1 seed in the NFC. They're not going to win a Super Bowl with Jimmy Garoppolo or Stetson Bennett or any of those guys. Right? But what you are going to get is a guy that means a lot to his team, everything to his team, but he's got better talent around him. So that's kind of the case for Matthew Stafford is he's had a great career, but this is the best he's played. I mean, career highs in touchdown percentage, 8%, success rate, 54.1%, QB rating, adjusted net yards per pass attempt, 8.18. A lot of stuff goes in his favor. But Drake Maye, he's been fantastic himself. And I think for Drake Maye, you look at the narrative for him, some of the interesting things are, yeah, sure, he's had an easier schedule. There's no doubt about that. But he's also beaten the number 1, the number 3, the number 7, the number 8, and the number 10th ranked passing defenses in the NFL. And that definitely helps. And then you look at Matthew Stafford, he plays in the toughest division in the NFL. So there's a lot of things kind of going both ways in this one. It's going to be exciting down the stretch. I think that the biggest case that Drake Maye has for him is Matthew Stafford needs to go into a slump. Excuse me. He needs to fall into a funk, and the Rams have to not win the 1 seed. If he gets back to where he's been this season and they win the 1 seed, the award is his. But right now, Drake Maye is the favorite. But let me know down below. Do you guys got Drake Maye? Do you guys got Matthew Stafford? Who is your pick to win the MVP? Who do you got? I think that Drake Maye's strength of schedule, that knock on him, you could flip that and offset that by saying that Matthew Stafford just has a better talent advantage. So is that a push? So I think it's going to come down to the age. I think the voters are going to love the fact that it's the 37-year-old versus the 23-year-old. It's kind of just human nature at that point. So it really is kind of the best. Let's call it what it is. The MVP is the best player on the most at the most important position in the award. That's what the MVP is. It's who is the best player at quarterback, essentially. So, I mean, who knows? Another one I hate to say is, what if the Cowboys keep going crazy? They give it to Dak Prescott because he's a Cowboy. Yeah, we'll see about that. But all right, let's got some comments here. We got Stafford. We got Nando. D-Mac Sneeze got 2020 sus vibes. I feel that too. Bless you, D-Mac. Yeah, isn't that kind of spreading again? Isn't that spreading again? By the way, the Padres, their trophy case is emptier than the toilet paper aisles during COVID. Am I right? Am I right? The San Diego Padres, 1969, first year. Still no championship. Of course, I'm only joking. I love me some Padres. Of course. Our go D-Mac can't get sick. LA needs him. What's up, Rose? We got to Dan Moreno. All right. Switch gears. We got one more topic to get into. And then we are going to talk about a pretty ridiculous thing that was given to Boston, which I just don't agree with. So we talked a little about Chris Paul yesterday, and there's some more news about how things kind of went down today and how everything fell apart. There was a really good piece by Sam Amick from The Athletic that just had some very interesting details. And yeah, there's just so much to get into. So there was a late night meeting that brought Chris Paul to the Clippers, and a late night meeting that brought Chris Paul's LA Clippers career to an end. And it was supposed to take place during normal business hours, but they basically let him know it's not happening. So this is from the piece. It says, after all these weeks of building frustrations between the two sides, with Paul's dissatisfaction being felt in every corner of the Clippers operation during a brutal start to their season, the team's longtime president of basketball operations, Lawrence Frank, sent word to the future Hall of Famer that they needed to meet on Tuesday evening in Atlanta. The tone of his message demanded a change in Paul's plans. Paul, league sources said, had planned on attending the men's basketball game at his alma mater, Wake Forest, and then rejoin the Clippers in Atlanta afterwards, but he changed his plans, spending the first part of Tuesday attending an art festival in Miami before hopping on the team's chartered flight that was scheduled to land in Atlanta around 6 p.m. local time. So basically, Ty Lue and Chris Paul, they weren't on speaking terms. Things were getting ugly. And then Lawrence Frank, who's the head of their basketball operations, goes from LA to Atlanta, so you know this is serious. And then this is the next part. There was an unexpected issue. The team plane had mechanical problems in Miami, causing an hours-long delay that in the end would lead to Frank and Paul discussing their unresolvable issues deep into the wee hours. By the time Paul shared the news of his release on social media at 2:40 a.m. in Atlanta, writing, "Just found out I'm being sent home," on an Instagram post, the only people confused about why it happened were outside of the Clippers' walls. Whether you agree with this decision or not, this much was clear. Paul's constant criticism internally had been the root of the perceived problem. So basically what happened was Chris Paul was just unfiltered. He was unrelenting with how he was managing the situation and how he was just trying to light a fire under that team. And this kind of who Chris Paul was, right? The guy that, look, if he's your teammate, he's a leader. And some guys lead a certain way. Chris Paul is a tough SOB when it comes to that. And the whole thing with going back to the Clippers was supposed to be, all right, let's just ride off into the sunset, going to finish my career where it started. He signed a $3.6 million deal for 1 year. And I think there was a communication letdown when this all started. I don't think that the two sides really had an understanding about how he could impact the team. Because if you're Chris Paul and you're not playing, how else are you going to impact the team? That's with your wisdom, your experience, trying to get the young guys motivated. And the Clippers were terrible. I mean, going 5-16 in a year where they were a trendy pick to contend, to finish with the top 4 seed in the Western Conference. You have Ty Lue, and Ty Lue had enough with Chris Paul. League sources say Paul had several meetings recently with Clippers officials regarding their concerns with his approach, with one source indicating that there was a request for him to stop with the locker room lawyering. League sources said Paul was openly critical of the team in a film session on Tuesday, but as Frank indicated, the decision to move on from Paul had already been made. Lawrence Frank said, "It wasn't working out the way that I had planned, and we had planned, and it was unfortunate. You don't take decisions like this lightly at all, especially a guy that meant so much to the league and so much for our organization, but just felt it was the right decision to make it. And unfortunately, it was really, really hard decision to make, but I think it was the right one for the team and the organization." Frank also said that the decision had nothing to do with one incident or one meeting that did or did not happening, and he would not elaborate on it. And Paul, he was basically shocked by this. He basically was like, what is going on? And Frank said Chris will help fortify our backcourt with his exceptional ball handling and playmaking and shooting. And that was kind of the impetus to get him onto the team. And then they do him like this. And this was a pretty terrible ending to what was just an embarrassing moment for the Clippers. Think about this. The first time the Clippers have been relevant this year was when Kawhi Leonard got into some sketchy thing about a fake job and a fake endorsement to a fake company. Now, the second thing is them disrespecting a legend like Chris Paul. I mean, it's pretty ugly. It's a pretty ugly exit. And hey, this is what Ty Lue said. He said, "Do I want to see CP go out like this? No, I have a lot of respect for him. He's been a friend of mine over the years, and you never want to see a great go out like this. but I'm pretty sure he will find something because he's a great player. I don't like it for CP, but it just wasn't a good fit. Man, it must have gotten really bad. I mean, it must have gotten pretty bad. I mean, it must have gotten ugly. The Clippers, they have to be one of the worst organizations in professional sports right now with the drama that's going on. And I think it's a bad mix. Look, Chris Paul's cranky. They're a clown organization. It was just a bad idea. This was kind of one of those things where you did get back with your ex, and it just was not a good idea. Like, things have changed. You're not going to rekindle what you had in the summer of 2016. Everyone wants to go back to summer of 2016, right? It was such a great summer. Look, the truth is only so many guys get to go out on their own terms. So, hey, Chris Paul, if he wasn't able to teach, wasn't able to inspire, what was he supposed to do? Right? If he wasn't able to do that, what was he going to do? I had a boss once that his saying was, if you irritate the organism will expel you. Yeah, clearly he got expelled, but they're just an absolute mess. The Clippers, geez. First of all, why does their logo look like a budget cruise ship logo? And it has a scope in the middle. That's what I don't get. Other thing, too, I don't want to see him on the Lakers unless they were to trade Reaves and bring in another big name and you lose a ball handler. But even then, look, Chris Paul, he doesn't have it anymore. But, yeah, this is ugly. All right, last thing. Before we get out of here, and I'll do some more comments. Who's the worst? It's time for dinner, Mr. Classic. D-Mac, did you have lunch? I had some sushi. D-Mac, don't eat Vaughn's Pavilion Sushi ever again from Cyrus. How'd you know I did that? All right. So Boston, best sports city. Boston was ranked as the best sports city in America. The top 5, Boston, LA, Pittsburgh, New York, and Dallas. Boston is not a better sports city than Los Angeles. The Lakers, more iconic than the Celtics. I don't care about the championships. The Lakers have been in more finals. They're more iconic. They're the glamour franchise. They are bigger globally. The Lakers mean a lot to this city. The Dodgers are running Major League Baseball. The Los Angeles Dodgers are on an all-time run. If they win the championship, they win the World Series in 2026, I think that's the best 3-year stretch of any team in the history of Major League Baseball. You got Shohei Ohtani in his prime. You got Mookie Betts and Freddie Freeman. Boston has been largely irrelevant in baseball for the last 5-6 years. The monster, Park the car at Harvard Yard. Look, Fenway's great. The Green Monster is nice. The Dodgers have just gone back-to-back. The Patriots are better again. You got Mike Vrabel and Drake May. Kudos to them. The Rams are right there. The Rams have won a Super Bowl more recently. They also have the Chargers. Then beyond that, Kings, Bruins, give me my Kings. But also, we've got college sports. We've got USC getting the #1 recruiting class, getting there. UCLA, new head coach. I'm a big Bob Chesney believer. Mick Cronin, the Bruins. The thing is, who's the more iconic franchise, Lakers or Celtics? That one is a little bit of a push. The history of the Celtics is a lot. If I'm being objective, you could say it's a push, but the Lakers are more popular, and they have a more popular player in Luka Doncic. So Lakers advantage at least for 2026. Dodgers, Red Sox, not even close. Dodgers all day. And then you got Rams, Patriots, that's dead even. The Bruins and the Kings push. I think Bruins have a really good following. But I just think that LA is such an underrated sports city. And I don't know if they're talking about the experience, this and that. Look, Laker games sell out. Dodgers games sell out. Rams games, the crowd has been a lot better. Maybe it's the existence of the Clippers that knocks them down on this list. But I think that the Lakers and the Dodgers being the iconic franchise that they are. LA is the sports capital of the world, like I said. But Boston, F Boston, right? Like we always say around these parts. And they just have more relevant franchise right now. And look, Dodger Stadium is a lot more fun than Fenway when it's rocking. I do like Fenway, but all right. Read some of your comments. Get out of here. We've got Kings won in 2012 and 2014, more recently than the Boston Bruins. There you go. You guys know I love my Kings. Go, Kings, go. We got Yale won a bunch of titles forever ago, but just like the Celtics, but the Lakers, like Alabama, are the biggest names in their respective sports. It's the Clippers and the Angels and the Chargers that are hurting us. LA has 19 titles this century. Boston has 13. It's not close. Roseman, D-Mac, come to my neighborhood. We got tamales for you, King. I would love to go there because I love me some tamales. And that might influence what I have for dinner. But all right, guys, that's going to do it for this episode of the LA Sports Report. My name is Doug McKain. You can follow me on X and Instagram at DMac_LA. If you haven't yet, join the movement. It's the fastest growing all LA sports show on YouTube and on podcast. Find us on podcast, Apple, Spotify. Subscribe. Even if you're not going to listen, or you are, go subscribe. Also, comment LASR and Luka Magic for a chance at a Luka Doncic jersey at 5,000 subs. And definitely join me tomorrow. Got a nice little interview talking some Rams football with a special guest. So be on the lookout for that. And remember, there's a lot of great cities out there, but LA is the city of champions. LA is the sports capital of the world. The Lakers have entered their Luka Doncic era. LeBron doesn't just want a farewell tour, he wants a farewell title. The Rams are going to win the Super Bowl. Go, Kings, go! The Dodgers are the best run franchise in all of professional sports. Shohei Ohtani is the GOAT. Steve Ballmer will do anything to get the Clippers a championship. Mick Cronin has to win a national championship at UCLA. Justin Herbert is a top 5 quarterback in this league. College football is just better when USC is good. This whole city has the Mamba mentality. I love LA.